Hey, what's going on, beautiful people? Episode 17, cholesterol health. Cholesterol reset, balance the numbers. Now, when it comes to cholesterol, there's not flashing lights, there's no alarms, there's no real symptoms like if you had a cold or a flu. When it comes to high cholesterol, sometimes you won't know until it's too late. It shows up in stroke, it shows up in high blood pressure and other chronic diseases. So what we want to talk about in this episode is how to manage cholesterol health and doing it the healthiest way. So, I mean, some people understand you may have to take statins or medications to help regulate cholesterol levels, but ultimately, this platform, we're talking about prevention and maintenance. We want to get to a point where we are relying on the body's intelligence to regulate cholesterol. Because I don't know if you know this or not, cholesterol is made in the body. Actually, the body makes all the cholesterol it actually needs. However, we do play a role with our diet and lifestyle to help regulate and balance the imbalances. So in this particular episode of my podcast, which I'm pretty excited about, and thank you guys for just following this long. We are actually at episode 17, which is wild. Well, we're going to talk about some red flags that you can be on the lookout for. Again, we don't have symptoms, so we're looking for red flags that show up in everyday lifestyle that can tell you, hey, my cholesterol health might need some attention. Also, we talk about some micro habits, things that you can do day to day. They are little, but they stack up and they become mighty when they are all together. These are micro habits that you can do to help support a healthier cholesterol balance. And then we talk about foods, superfoods that you can, like at your local supermarket, or if you want, you can grow them. But these are foods that you can take to help support your cholesterol health lifestyle. Again, most times medications are being thrown in our faces. Super magic pills. We see all these commercials, we see all these marketing, and companies allegedly are spending millions of dollars to get you to believe that your cholesterol at a certain point can only be helped by their product or their pharmaceutical or whatever the case may be. But I'm here to remind us about the intelligence of the body, and also with the proper reset, and also with the proper mindset, moderation, and movement, you can turn the needle back to allow your body to take control of your cholesterol balance. Sounds good? Yeah, I hope so. Now, we dive a little bit deeper on Saturday, which is called our Coach's Corner. We moved it from Friday to Saturday, where we'll be talking with Dr. Nancy Silver even deeper. She's a naturopathic doctor. You know, on this platform, we're flexitarians, and also we go about the holistic naturopathic way. Because again, we want to give you the power, let you know Earth got you, God got you, and if you do the right lifestyle, the right way, balance, it's healthy. No one's trying to be perfect on this platform. You also can take control of your health. Again, we're not here to treat, diagnose, or cure. I am a nutritionist, I am a behavior change specialist, and I'm a certified personal trainer. I'm here to provide strategy, give you some tools, some common sense eating, common sense lifestyle, common sense movement, and also just to kind of shed some light on misconceptions and basic 101s. What is cholesterol? So let's talk about it. So first and foremost, cholesterol is like a waxy-like substance that you can find in cells. And believe it or not, it has a primary function in the body. It's good for metabolism, hormonal balance, even vitamin D. There are different types of cholesterol that we hear or people talk about. You have your LDL, you have your HDL, and then you also hear triglycerides. So first and foremost, your LDL is sort of the bad cholesterol. Now, when your LDL is high, this is when cholesterol is oxidized. And when it oxidizes, it starts to stick to the artery walls. And this is what makes it really, really narrow. It get really small. And this is when you get higher blood pressure. This is when stroke levels happen. This is heart attacks. This is really bad business. Now, this is why I'm bragging about the body. The body got me, you know what I'm saying? So it's so intelligent. So outside of LDL, the body also has HDL, and these are commonly known as the good cholesterol. Now, HDL is like the cleanup crew. So it takes the excess cholesterol back to the liver for processing and for removal or waste. So when we're talking about on this podcast and our platform is how do we improve our HDL so that way it can take care of the LDL. And that's when we get up into the diet. That's when we get into movement. That's when we get into lifestyle. And then we talk about some myths that I believe are misconceptions that people believe. And we're going to fix all of that. And then when we have our coach's corner, we get to talk about that even more. Now, one of the things about triglycerides, which is the fatty side of it. This is in the blood cells. This is what you find in your blood. You don't want this to be high either. Actually, triglycerides high is almost worse than LDL. So you want to make sure you're staying away from smoking, excess smoking, alcohol, and ultra processed foods. This is the snacks that we are guilty of eating, especially when we're stressed out, when we're really hungry, but we're not eating proper nutrients. We're just grabbing a bag of chips. We're grabbing some pretzels. We're grabbing just anything that's salty or sweet. We're out of time, so we go to the fast food drive-through, and we're eating empty calories. We're not eating real food. These are the things that contribute to high cholesterol levels, the LDLs, because all it's going to do is going to put into your body what your body really can't use. Your body's like, okay, we're working to keep our human being energized, focused. We're regulating mood. We're regulating hormone balance. We got to make sure that our human is feeling joy and also well rested and has the strength it needs in fight or flight situations. And we have to be more intentional about the fuel that we're putting into our bodies. And again, this is not about a shame thing. It's sometimes when you know better, you do better. Life is lifing all the time. So I don't believe in a perfect diet that you have to eat all vegetables or you have to eat all fish, or you have to, that for me, that doesn't work for me. And that I don't even preach that to the community. I'm a flexitarian for a reason, because I believe in moderation. I believe in mindset, and I believe in movement, period. I believe there's good in just about every diet out there. So why don't you pick and choose what's going to work for you? When it comes to cholesterol, creating a lifestyle that's going to support HDLs going up and support LDLs going down and keeping triglycerides at bay is what we're really going for. Again, it's about prevention and maintenance. So let's get right into it. We talked about what some of the cholesterol, what it is. Let's talk about some red flags that we can be on the lookout for. And before I get to the red flag, the first one, which is chronic fatigue, I did mention smoking. Again, smoking is associated with increasing your LDLs because it actually lowers your HDL. That's just, that's the facts. Don't shoot me. I'm sorry. However, other things, which I did talk about, which is alcohol, and I kind of glazed over. I said alcohol and ultra processed, and then I talked about the ultra processed foods. Alcohol is another contributor. Now, I'm not telling you to give up your cocktails. I'm not telling you to give up your evening drink. What I am saying is just be a little bit more intentional about your liquor consumption. Right now, some people just drinking anything. They drink anything just to get a buzz, or they're drinking anything just to feel numb. I mean, it's beers, it's cheap liquors, it's sugary alcohol drinks, and there's no real intention behind it. So I'm not saying you need to quit alcohol altogether. I mean, if you do, that's great. Good to, your body won't be mad. That's for sure. However, if you have a positive relationship with alcohol, and that is something that you do sometime to knock the edge off or sometime in celebration, what I'm saying is try to get to a place where you're consuming alcohol that is quality alcohol. Stop going for the cheap stuff because it's cheap. Stop just drinking it because it's free. Stop just drinking it because it's sweet. Because what you're doing is you're messing with your cholesterol balance. You really are. So I'm gonna leave it at that because I don't want y'all coming at me again. I'm just here to make sure you're getting paid in the health sense. So just hear me when I say that. If you're drinking every day, try to go every other day. If you're drinking every other day or 2-3 times out of the week, just try to go to once a week or during celebrations. Your body's not going to hate you for it. And as we're getting older, we can't do what we used to do. We can't binge and go crazy like we used to go crazy, because that's not supporting a aging body. It's just not. It's actually not fair to your body. But I'll stop there. I'll stop there. So one of the red flags, chronic fatigue. So one of the things that shows up when your cholesterol health may need some attention is when there's fatigue. I mean, you can't even explain why you're tired. And this is because less oxygen. So less oxygen delivery is thicker blood. Thicker blood makes your pressure or the blood pressure go higher, and it causes more. It's more work. So your body is taking more work just to function, and that's making you tired. So you're like, I didn't run anywhere. I didn't do anything crazy. Why am I so fatigued? It's because on the inside, your body's working harder than it has to because of poor or not the best diet choices, or maybe you've been skipping out too many times on gym or fitness or yoga class or bicycling or walking after your meals or taking the elevator instead of the stairs. Like, your body's going to start showing up in ways where you're going to start getting fatigued because now I got to work harder in other areas. The second flag is xanthomas. Now, this is cholesterol deposits in the skin. It usually says yellow bumps, but it could, depending on your color, it could be brown bumps. It's just discolored bumps, usually around certain parts of the face and certain parts of the body. They say your knees, I think elbows. It's just certain parts of the body it shows up. And these are cholesterol deposits, which means that your HDL is not high enough to remove the excess LDL the right way, which is through the liver. Another third flag, that was number 2, third flag is rising blood pressure. And this is a steady rising blood pressure. So if you're monitoring your blood pressure, quick question, when's the last time you check your blood pressure? Is it just when you go for your checkup, or are you finding ways throughout the year to check your blood pressure? This is something, especially as you're getting older, and this is not just for older people. This is for everybody, because there's a lot of young people with high blood pressure. There's a lot of young people with cholesterol. I'm talking in their 20s, early 20s, who have high cholesterol. So this is not a when I get 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old thing. This is everybody. So you also want to make sure that if your blood pressure is going up, and let's say, dag, I'm not eating salty foods, because we always think it's salty foods for blood pressure. But your cholesterol is not also just tied to fatty foods. It could just be tied to lifestyle, poor diet choices, and also unprocessed stress, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. The next thing are microhabits. So we got some red flags. And again, there's more red flags, but those are the most common red flags I wanted to share for this particular episode. Next one is microhabits. So for microhabits, you hear me say this all the time, and I hope you're not getting annoyed. I hope you're being encouraged to know that if Chef D is saying after you finish eating, take a walk, I hope you're saying like, wow, okay, so walking after my meals also is going to help with my cholesterol. Wow, like I already know it's going to help with liver, it's going to help with kidney function, it's going to help with gut digestion. Now he's also saying that it is known to help with my cholesterol levels. Too easy, you know what I'm saying? Like, find a way to walk after you eat. Now, I had a comment in the comment section, and it was asking, hey, is it okay if I walk 10 minutes in place? That's not a bad idea. As long as you're moving, you want to start burning up some of that sugar, that glucose, some of that fat. You want to start putting it in motion. You want the body to demand it already, so that way it's not stacking up on the last storage that was not used. And this is what I'm saying. It's small habits that stack up. So maybe you can't walk after breakfast, but maybe you can after lunch. You know, maybe you can walk to the restaurant and walk back. Or if you made your lunch, maybe after you eat your lunch on your break, you can do a walk around the building, walk around the block. And what I offered as far as the advice earlier, like, hey, also instead of just walking in place, a flight of steps, go up and down it 5 times, a complete set, complete round trip. So up and down is 1 time. Do that about 5 times. If you about it, do it 10 times. And that also would help with your cholesterol health. Another habit, which is a repeat, you've heard me say this before, is deep breathing. So sometimes cholesterol imbalances could be contributed to off-the-wall cortisol. So cortisol, we spoke about this time and time again, is connected to stress. Sometimes not bad stress, it could be good stress, but it's connected to the whole point of hormone balance, or it could be imbalance. So deep breathing, scientifically, this is something I'm not, nutrition and wellness guys, not making this up. When you can get to a point throughout the day that you just take a couple of moments to breathe. They call it meditation. They also call it, affirmation time. But when you can get to a place where you have intentional deep breathing, this helps to regulate cortisol. Sometimes the day is stressed. You just got a phone call that stressed you out. If you got kids, your kids probably something happened that stressed you out. If you're in love, love comes with stress sometimes. Or maybe you're caring for an older one, or maybe you're caring for a special needs child, or just maybe you're lonely. Whatever the case may be, there's stress that happens in life. So when you're getting to that point, what I'm saying is that stress is also connected to cholesterol, because with too much stress, it really rigs the body. It really provides chaos. So since we're specifically talking about cholesterol, take time, even if it's just twice a day, to do deep breathing. And you can go on YouTube. There's apps for this that are free that can help you with guided deep breathing. But it's really good for lowering cholesterol, lowering cortisol, which influences cholesterol. And the third one, which is one of my favorites, is your sleep routine. So what happens is during sleep, vessels are repaired, and it helps balance cholesterol regulating hormones. So when you have good sleep health, this is another time or opportunity as well with the growth hormone, and also a lot of other functions that are happening while you're sleeping. Cholesterol is another one of those functions that gets to get back in balance when you're getting proper rest. Now, proper rest, we had that episode, I think that's week 3. Sleep health is week 3 or week 4. So check it back out in our podcast, episode 3 or episode 4. And we go deeper into what sleep health looks like. But again, don't skimp out on the sleep. I know sometimes you can have an off night or maybe 2 off nights, but don't let that be a regular thing. Good sleep is going to help contribute to cholesterol health in a lot of ways, because that's the time when your body repairs itself, because there's no outside distractions, and the internal organs and internal systems can just do their thing. I'm like a little tongue-tied today. I don't figure out what's going on. Now, after we talked about red flags, we talked about microhabits. Let's talk about superfoods. Chef D, this is my wheelhouse. So when it comes to superfoods, there's 3: avocados, walnuts, and oats. Yeah, that's a big one. So when it comes to avocados, this is the healthier fat. This is the monosaturated fat. Reason why we do that is because it's known to help lower the LDL, and we're also not contributing to poor triglyceride choices. And this helps the HDL to go up. So avocados in moderation are very good for cholesterol health, especially if you're working with a dietitian or a health coach, or if your primary physician is focused and trained in nutrition the right way and not incentivized by pharmaceutical companies to prescribe you statins and all other type of medications, then that is someone who you can trust. And you want to talk about what does moderation look like for your diet, for your blood levels, for your labs. What does that look like when it comes to avocados? For me, I love avocados. That's a breakfast thing for me when I do my eggs. And it's also, I love guacamole. It's just a really great snack. It's a healthy fat snack. Walnuts are really good. A lot of nuts and legumes are good for you, but the reason for walnuts is the omega-3s help with that calming effect, because it helps calm inflammation. So snacking on some walnuts can be expensive, so don't look at buying the whole ones. Get the crushed ones if you have to, because they are cheaper, or get the walnut halves. But when you're buying the whole ones, just know it could be a little pricey. But don't mind getting them mixed in with maybe almonds or cashews, or getting them mixed in with other Brazil nuts. But just get some walnuts in your diet, and a little bit goes a long way. And the oats are soluble fiber, and it binds cholesterol in the gut. Now here's a quick tip, a trick. So with oats, and I love oats. However, if you cook your oats, let them cool down, put them in the fridge, and then reconstitute them the next day, you help reduce the sugar levels in those oats, because now you start turning them into a resistant starch. So any starch, rice, oats, potatoes, when you cook them and then you cool them down, when you bring them back up to temp, you have helped with creating more resistant starch. So think about your oats. If you batch cook a bunch of oats, put it in the fridge, and you scoop it out and add a little extra milk or extra, I like Ripple, which is pea protein milk, or hot water, anything of that nature, almond milk, and just bring that back to life, a little cinnamon, a little sugar. You have helped with the glucose side of your oats. A little quick tip. Now, last but not least, let's talk about some holistic tips for supporting the cholesterol. So what you want to do when you're trying to do cholesterol health is think about supporting the liver, because they are teammates. They work very, very close together. So herbs like milk thistle and dandelion tea. So let me tell you, dandelion tea is like my new go-to. It's my favorite thing. You can get the leaves, you can get the root. Just get dandelion tea into your home because you can steep it. And it's a great addition to a lot of health functions in the body. But just sticking with cholesterol and liver support, milk thistle and dandelion tea are great additions to your toolkit when it comes to balancing cholesterol health. And again, working with a dietitian, a health coach, is good with kind of figuring out, even a herbalist, to kind of figure out what does that look like for you. They'll always say there needs to be more studies for stuff, which I find so interesting, because when it comes to pharmaceuticals and stuff, something can only be out for 1 year. A vaccine can only be out for 1 year. And for some reason, it's super healthy. But when there's herbs and there's spices and there's a lot of adaptogens that's been around for not just decades, not just millenniums, but have been around forever, then all of a sudden we don't have enough study. But there's studies out there. Just find the trusted sources that you can go to support that lifestyle choice. Because speaking about adaptogens, I like ashwagandha. This also can reduce stress-driven cholesterol imbalances. It's an adaptogen, so it means you take it, and as the more time you take it, it starts to regulate over time. It's not something you take today and then your cholesterol health is great. Your HDLs are up, your LDLs are down. It doesn't work that way. It's an adaptogen like maca root and some of these other adaptogens. I love adaptogens. And then also when you're working on your cholesterol health, you want to focus on gut health. So probiotics and fiber improve fat metabolism and bile production. Again, you hear me saying things that's going to support the liver. So go back to episode 2, which is all about the liver. And you can hear what was the recommendations, what are some of the strategies we covered about liver health. And you taking care of the liver is also going to help support cholesterol, in addition to movement, mindset, and moderation. Again, you can have the best diet in the world, whatever that diet looks like. However, if you have unregulated stress, if you're in toxic environments, if you are the toxicity in the environment, it's just not going to work, because there's still going to be unprocessed emotions and moods and stress that's going to cause cortisol levels to be off the hook, and it's going to affect cholesterol. But if you get into an environment where you're protecting your peace at all costs, you're surrounding yourself with positive people. Again, everybody can't be positive, but you're setting up barriers that the people who aren't positive, people who aren't conducive to a great lifestyle, you keeping them, giving them their distance. You dealing with them in doses. This is supporting overall health. And I think we all need to know that we have more control over our health than we realize. It's not just about eating and getting to the gym. It's also about the company we keep, which is one of the pillars I always talk about, which is social health. As a flexitarian, that's really big. What is your social health looking like? How are you feeding your spirit? How are you feeding your mind? How are you feeding your heart? That all helps, believe it or not, even when it comes to cholesterol health. And I want to just talk about 2 myth busters, and we'll get out of here, because I want us to we're going to have a good time on Saturday when we talk to Dr. Silva about cholesterol even deeper, because some of you have questions, and I'm excited to ask her some of those questions because, your life is specific. So we want to touch on that. I don't want to glaze over all the facts without addressing some of your actual concerns. Myths. So eggs, oh my gosh, eggs are always demonized. They're always demonized. Either the yolk is demonized and the egg whites are just the only thing that's happy, or the good part. But eggs are a complete protein, so it has all the amino acids that you need. And eggs in itself aren't bad for your cholesterol. Again, it goes to moderation, and also you're going with movement. So for most people, eggs don't significantly affect blood cholesterol, cholesterol. Really, it's sugars and processed foods that are really causing chaos to your cholesterol. So someone say, I don't eat eggs because of the cholesterol. If you really look at your diet and lifestyle, work with a dietitian, work with a nutritionist, work with a health coach, I'm sure they can do a deep dive into your health choices and your diet choices. And I'm sure you can come in there and find out what may be triggering your cholesterol. Most cases, it's not just inherently eggs, unless you're eating 8 eggs a day, which is wild work. Another one, cholesterol meds are the only fix. Now, truth is, lifestyle changes your LDL and HDL and your triglycerides, even if you're on statins. So some people have gotten to the point of no return. So you are on statins, and that's what you're doing to regulate your cholesterol. But please hear me, that you still can work on your lifestyle choices, which the food you choose, your movement, and even your mindset, and you can reduce your reliance on medication. And there's many of people documented. This is not a mystery. This is not a secret. This is not gatekeeping. There are many people who get off of their statins or get off of their cholesterol or blood pressure medication because they made some small changes, but they were consistent changes. They didn't join a bodybuilding competition. They didn't just eat grass and became a vegan, which if you did, that's great, because veganism is also a great thing if that's what you can stick with. I tried. That's not my thing. But again, there are ways to beat these things, because high cholesterol, and let me just be clear, high cholesterol isn't a curse. It's your body intelligent response to things not being right on the inside, and them letting you know that your arteries are getting tighter and that you have too much fatty, waxy substance in your bloodstream, and we need you to change your diet and we need you to change your lifestyle. That's what it really is. It's actually a call to action more than it is a curse. So don't look at it as, wow, the doctor says I have high cholesterol and I need to get on meds in order to fix it. All I'm telling you is that you have an opportunity to get into some herbs. You have better food choices. You have diet. You have lifestyle. You have movement. There's ways you can reduce your reliance on medication, and there's definitely ways to get off of medication, for sure. Work with a dietitian, work with a nutritionist, work with a health coach, and still work with your doctor if they're trusted and they're not just trying to shove medication down your throat, because some are, because that's how they get paid on the back end. It's no secret. Outside of that, all fats are bad. That's another myth. That's not true. All fats are not bad. Healthy fats like olive oil, nuts, and fatty fish are actually protective. So if you remember at the beginning of this episode, we're looking to prevent and we're looking for maintenance. And the best way to do that is to be proactive, which is protective over your health, especially your cholesterol. So don't look at the label, or don't be fooled when you see labels that say no fat, zero fat, or low fat, and that is automatically a healthy food. That's not the case. What you want to look for is specifically on the back of the label, what are some polysaturated, monosaturated. You don't want to just look for saturated. You definitely don't want to look for trans fatty foods, but you want to do your homework and you want to find fats that are natural and good for your heart and good for your health, especially for your cholesterol. That's about it. Cholesterol is just a natural design of the body. It's not a bad thing. It becomes a bad thing when we neglect our body and we choose things in our lifestyle that are excessive. Again, if you smoke, nobody's here to shame you. You smoke, you smoke. It is what it is. But if you can get to a place where you reduce your smoking, or you get to a place where you stop smoking, good for you. Until you can get to that point, just be mindful that smoking may be affecting your cholesterol health. So find ways to compensate, maybe until you stop smoking, which may be work out a little bit more, or stay away from fast food, or stay away from ultra processed foods. Just figure out a way to be intentional about your lifestyle. Cholesterol is a natural function of the body. It's a natural design of the body. It's not by accident. We're not going to demonize cholesterol. We're just going to now start being a little more intentional about how we regulate our cholesterol balance. Again, if you smoking, I hope this is not to shame anyone who's smoking. You smoke, that's your choice, that's your prerogative. I'm just saying to help support cholesterol health. This is vaping, smoking, hookah, cigars, whatever. Even some people say, well, I don't really inhale it, I just blow it out. No matter what, listen, smoking of any sort can contribute to lowering your HDL and increasing your LDL. So I'm not telling you to quit. I'm just saying be intentional about your smoking because it is contributing to cholesterol. Now, if you are smoking, how about this? If it's healthiest, because we healthiest family here, right? So if you're smoking and that's just the choice you chose, that's the choice you chose. No one should make you feel bad about that. Instead, compensate in other areas. Maybe your diet's going to be a little bit different. Maybe certain fast foods you won't eat. You'll probably stay away from certain processed foods. Maybe alcohol is not your thing, so you'll stay away from that. Again, just find a way to balance your lifestyle so that way you're not having all of these things affecting your health in a negative way and you're just standing by letting it all happen, because cholesterol doesn't come with real symptoms until sometime it's too late. If you're a drinker, alcohol, hey, drink your alcohol if that's what you need. If you need to knock the edge off, do what you gotta do. But let's start regulating and being intentional and balancing our alcohol consumption. Maybe every day is not the right move for some people. Maybe every other day is not the right move. Maybe you just need once a week, or maybe on special occasions. And if you do alcohol, maybe choose some quality alcohol. Stay away from the cheap stuff, the sweet, sugary stuff, and support your body in a way that is telling your body, hey, I love you. I really do love you. Today was a rough day. Bottoms up, or we celebrating this amazing occasion, or you know what? I just experienced some of the most traumatic stress in my life, and I need this. I need to drink. I need to escape the pain. You have that right. No one should be shaming anyone about that. Now, if you do have a problem, and it is excessive, and it's something that's really causing havoc on your health, then yeah, if loved ones start speaking up and say, hey, you might need help, yeah, you might need help. I'm talking about the people who have it under control. Do what you got to do. Last but not least, family. We are flexitarians. We are healthy-ish, and we're all about mindset, moderation, and movement. I'm so glad that you joined me this episode. I hope you got some value out of it. Join us on Saturday when we go deeper into cholesterol. I answer some of your questions that you sent in the DMs, your comments, in some of your emails. We will answer that with Dr. Silva. I think that's going to be my guess. Sometimes it switches out at the last minute, but I think we got Dr. Silva coming up for this Coach's Corner for cholesterol health. And remember, health is wealth, and I'm just here to make sure you're getting paid. Until next time, yum on. I love you guys. I really do. Just thank you for being on this journey with me. We getting better. I hope y'all see we getting better. Love y'all.